Hello everybody and welcome to SLR A1 action here for Austria Preseason. You've just watched the T2 race and T1 race should I say, as it was a slow burner. We're hoping for a bit more action here in T2. A1 should I say, there's too many fucking leagues for me to remember. Hoping for a bit more action as we have 17 drivers here today, which is pretty decent for a pre-season race. Hoping for the full quota for the first race of the season though, as we're out on track at the minute. We're on board with Jonesy, who's on an out lap. We've got a few reserves in, obviously Edgar is T2 for example, same with Dusty, and yeah, it's nice to have Edgar have a little bit of a pre-season race, as we'll go on board with Dusty, see if he can match or beat his pole time from yesterday, and will Montana be able to beat that as he is here today as well? Will he be able to defend his championship as well and be as dominant as anything other than winning every race isn't good enough for him, obviously. But I'm on board with Dusty at the minute. Will he be able to get anywhere near the pole position time that he did yesterday? Was 0.2 yesterday, and today, and the T1 pole time was actually a 0.2 as well, so will the A1 guys be able to top that? I wonder. As Dusty actually beat Surface's world record time as well, as I think he's going straight back into the pits, so maybe just a cycle up for Dusty. 16-1 for, as Jonesy does a 106.5 to begin with. And there's my yawn. There's Craig goes P2 106, PCF1 VTEC 105.4 there. So we've got a few times on the board. Akil 107, Montana out the block to a 104.6. He'll be fairly disappointed with that, I'm pretty sure. Obviously compared to everybody else, that's very, very quick. But Montana's standards, that's there's a few tenths in that. As we're on board with Unseen, will he be able to be the man to challenge his former teammate, I wonder? 105.4 for Unseen, so not quite in the 104s. So we're going to have the same thing as the T1 race, where only one person gets in the 104 straight off the bat. As Morgan's the person in P2 at the minute, 105.3, so fair play to Morgan at the minute. As Game and Mark matches Unseen's first sector time, not special, a couple of tenths off where you want it to be. To be honest, maybe it's just a nervous first lap, possibly. As Mocky Mix is out on track in his Sauber, the first time he's been in a Sauber in SLR history, and this is his 5th season with us now. Well, 6th season in fact, because he's been in from season 1. So as he comes around the final corner in the Alpha, and into the final corner now, and he comes across the line. What will it be able to be? Is it in the 104s? No, it's a 105.4 P4 for Mocky Meeks so far. As Mark comes across the line now, will he be able to do anything? He's behind Unseen, we're 105.6, so not great from him so far. He'll be hoping to prove Mark was fairly strong on the last game. Don't know what it is on this game, but he'll be hoping for slightly better than what he's done so far. Bushchuck is on a lap now. Will he be able to improve? Well, how'd you get a lap on the board? In fact, he's way down. The order with a 114, 115. In fact, I think it's that bad. It doesn't count as the Vengeance for one. Is 113.7 at the minute on them medium tyres. Get on further up the field, making a lap of it. Mocky Makes coming to the pits. Mark is as well. Hidden in P8 at the minute, 106.1. He'll be hoping to improve on that. I'm expecting pretty much everybody in the 105s at least, at the minimum. But will anybody be able to get near that pole position time? Montana, I reckon. I'd expect Dusty to, seeing as he did a 0.2 before, as he's actually on a lap now, so we'll keep an eye on him as he's halfway through it now. He's got a Ferrari up ahead giving him a bit of dirty air. I think that's Zero's actually, no, I thought it was Mugen. Zero's on out, but he gets out of the way nicely for Dusty as he comes down the final few corners now. Will he be able to get anywhere near that pole time? I wonder as he comes around the final corner now. And he comes across the line, and it is a 104.1, and that is the best lap at Austria we've seen so far. And he's beaten Montana's pole time by half a second. Provisional pole time, should I say. No, that was a fairly decent lap from him. I say fairly decent, that's a very good lap from him. Going a slow lap. Zeros is on a lap, we'll keep an eye on him, the Finnish driver. And his first full season of SLR, he did half season in season 4, I think, and half season in season 5. And he's hoping to be able to get some decent points on the board, maybe top 10 for Zeros is hope. There was a fair few people that like that in on their CV, including people like Craig, for example, who's a P8 at the minute in that 106. He'll know he can improve on that. As Zero starts his next flying lap, he uses third gear into the first corner, and that's going to lose him a bit of time as he goes up the hill. As it's an easy fourth gear flow nicely corner. As Montana actually improves his time to 104.4, so still not quite near Dusty's, but yeah. And I think there's rain for the race. So I hear. I don't know if that's completely true. But Knuffle rarely lies about that sort of thing. We're still on board with Zero. I think he'll be jumping straight into the pit lane. I don't know if he'll carry on with this. dropped my phone again. Sorry about that, guys. I had to deal with a fridge. Mucky Weeks is P3 at the minute. Is improved to a flat 5 at the minute. We're expecting a few people to get into 4s, I reckon. Most of them are in the 5s at the minute. Only Jonesy, Hidden, Zeros, Catfish Hunter, and Edgar are not. Daddy's got away. Craig's improved to a 0.5, a 5.5 should I say, and that's got him P10. So it's fairly competitive in the midfield, just not at the top where it's a bit too quick. At this point, as Morgan's taking a very interesting line. On board with Unseen, I think he's on a lap. He is. He's improved by a 10th and a half. So he'll be trying to push into P3 there. As Montana improves, but not enough to beat Dusty. It's 300ths between the two. I mean, that'd been enough for T2 pole and T1 pole as well. As Unseen comes across the line now, and he does improve, but not by enough to overtake Mucking Weeks. At this point, as everyone's pretty much a second back, it's like they're in different cars to everybody else. At this point in the session, as Montana pits as he goes for one more run at the end. Same with Dusty, I suppose. And see the slow lap, Muggin. I think she's just starting a lap, so we'll stay on board with the Ferrari driver. Going through the gears quite fast, that's a trait of this track, I found. Well, it's just a game trait where you can go through the gears a lot quicker. As he gets a bit of a reception from Mark, I think. Well, it's slow lap though, it's very difficult to say. We'll have a look on the thing here, it'll be able to tell me. No, he's on a fairly quick lap. He's about 2 times down on his fastest in the first sector. And he's about 2 times down in the middle, so I'm presuming he'll pit. He's on a 0.3 at the minute. And it's very competitive in the midfield. Very competitive. It's basically half a second between being 13th and being where Mockymix is, or Hidden is in P3 actually. FX Hidden is improved. It's P3. Very interesting lap from him. Not really what we expected from him. I know he's not an horrific driver, but we've never really seen this sort of pace from him. So I wonder if anyone will go any quicker, as Hidden's only 10th off his best, so it's Williams 2 and 3 at the minute. But he's run out of ERS as well, so he'll be jumping in the pit lane, I'm presuming. Yes. As Mokamix is on the lap, his 200th up, he's got under the 16s there, which is usually a promising thing. He's got a bit of traffic though with Edgar up ahead. I wonder if he'll get out of the way or not. As the track evolution will start to work its way now into everybody's favour. As he's getting a lot of the understeer from Edgar's car there. Edgar has to get out of the way, surely. And he's very undecisive. He gets out of the way nicely. He would have been a bit annoyed. But Mockowitz for the final corner now. Will he be able to improve on his time? Will he get into the 104s? He does, a 0.9 just ahead of Mark and Hidden, who's unfortunately gone down to P5 of that lap. Craig retires in P13. So he's decided that there's nothing in it. As Craig marked the exact 105 as well. As the two front runners are both out now. It's a crowded track. As I don't know if Mark and Muckowitz is going again. I think they're going to slow down a lap. Get a bit of ERS saved up. And go again for one last lap. PC F1, look at it, it's 3 tenths. 3-4 tenths between him and Morgan, I suppose. So really, really tight in the midfield. Anything will just make a difference. at this point. Catfish Hunter's improved as well. So everybody's in the 105 except for Jonesy and Edgar at this point. On board with PCF1 at the minute, as Mockymix has decided he cannot improve on that 104.9. As PC is improving by 100th at the minute in the first sector, and makes a really nice apex there actually. He's on the pad, you can see twitching a little bit side to side. That won't help him too much, but smoothness is the key. Really nice into the second goal. Probably could take a little bit more curb on the inside, but into the double left-hander now, keeping it nice and tight as he can, and it looks pretty nice. A 10th up, so he's probably on target again. This 104, and probably getting fairly close to Mark's time at least as he comes around the final corner now. Will he use 6th? He uses 7th, carries the speed. And now into the final corner and across the line. Will he be able to get into the 104s? No, just outside, and he doesn't even improve on his position. His zeros goes to P7 there. We're 0.1. Hidden is just a little bit down on his time. Unseen's 3/10 up, so he's going to join the 109 club, it seems, as we'll stay on board with him. Catfish Hunter didn't improve. Muggen didn't, and the Vengeful One didn't. Akil and Bushcock both didn't, as Unseen does improve to a 0.8 and goes P3, just ahead of Mockymix. Will Jonesy be able to improve? Montana goes pole with 104.0, and very nearly into the 103s there, but that's Montana on pole yet again. Jonesy does not get into the 105, so that's a disaster for Mercedes, really. And Edgar's coming to the pits, so 2 guys didn't get in there, but the other 15, let's say, did, as Knuffle improves to P9 there, which pushes Muggen down to the 3 tyre choice, but I'm pretty sure it's raining in the race anyway. Don't know for how long for, but yeah, the top 10 on 105.3 mark the top 10, I suppose. So it was really, really close. I mean, 4 attempts between, let's say, Muggen all the way up to Mockymix. Really, really close. And it's getting wet to dry, it seems. I don't know who's still going around. I think we're just waiting for PCV Tech to retire from the session. And there it is. Really, really, really close qualifying, which leads to me to believe that it's going to be a very close race without barring any incidents. We'll have a look at what's going on in the chat. But yeah, really, really close qualifying, with Dusty and Montana within 1/10 of each other. I'm pretty sure Montana said in that session he wouldn't beat that time, but has managed it, as he always manages to, by 1/10 of a second. And then it's 7 attempts to Unseen, and Mockymix, and Mark, Hidden, Zero, PCV Tech, Knuffle, Catfish, and we're gonna. It's going to be a nice battle in behind where Unseen, Mockymix, them guys. It's going to be really, really, really close. Hopefully we don't have the same issue as the T1 race here now, where the game crashed. But yeah, that's heavy rain, so which means it's going to be wet conditions. Hidden says that's the best time he's done all week, so fair play to you. I mean, I was quite surprised he did a 105 as well, to be honest. Like that anyway. It's not something we've seen a lot, that sort of pace, but I say that, it's the second off Montana still. And that's quite a lot. Being race trim might be slightly different. In the wet, definitely. But yeah, we've got a formation lap. We are on the grid. We haven't had the same problem, which is always nice. But Montana is the man on pole. We've got Dusty in P2, very close qualifying from them two. Unseen in P3. Mocking Weeks in P4 in his Alpha. And then we've got Mark, Hidden, Zero, VTech, Nuffle, Catfish, Muggen, Vengeful, Craig, Akil, Bush, Jonesy, and Edgar rounding out in the Red Bull. I think the surprise package probably could be a bit hidden. I suppose the P6. That's a bit of a surprise qualifying. Craig, I suppose he's a bit low for where he can get. He's got a lot more pace than that. He knows it. So he knows he can get top 10. PC VTech has been a bit of a surprise package. Zero as well in P7. Knuffle will be a bit disappointed with P9. But yeah, fairly close in the midfield, and it leads for a very interesting race as Montana and Dusty's already lining up. As I try and wake myself up for this race, it should be a really good one. I don't know why I fell asleep for it. I mean, it'll either have lots of incidents or be a very good race in general. I doubt it'll be a bad one. The closeness of this field. As everyone lines up now, as 17 drivers are all on the grid, I think. As we are heading now to the lights, as we're sitting on board Montana now, waiting for the lights to come on. And there are the lights finally, as we get the green flag at the back of the grid, and 5 red lights are about to go out for the Austrian Grand Prix, and it's lights out, and away we go. Dusty gets a very nice start. It looks like Montana got a little bit of wheel spin off the start. He's going to stick his nose into turn 1, is Dusty, but it's Montana that gets away first, or is it? As Catfish Hunter is already out, as Montana, and Dusty have come together, and it looks like Montana might have got the damage, or is it Dusty? It's very hard to say. A bit of front wing went though. And it looks like it might be Montana as he's going backwards as Dusty goes into turn 1 in the lead. Montana has been overtaken by Hidden, who's already into second place. Mocky Mix is going backwards. There's a bit of carnage in behind as they're all squabbling for positions in behind. Edgar's lost his front wing. Vengeful One's lost his front wing. Jonesy is going slowly, but he's always going slowly. Vengeful's already left the session as there's zeros in the gravel trap as the Force Indias are struggling as yeah, it's very hectic start. Hidden's already back down as Unseen is now leading the race, so it looks like Dusty has lost the back end somewhere, or is he the one that lost the front wing? Somebody lost a bit of front wing. I can't tell who it is. It might have been Dusty, to be fair, but Hidden is into P4, Nuffle is into P5 with Mockerick's P6, Craig in P7 already in this race. I mean, that is crazy quick how he got in from P13 to P7, but then again Hidden was in second at some points in that lap as we're waiting for it all to calm down a bit. We've got a bit of gap between Craig and Mockymix, who's struggling in the rain. He's not a fan of it, I know that by knowing him. As it looks like Dusty's going to try and make a move on Montana. Hopefully no contact this time as he just sticks his nose in, looks for a cutback, struggles with traction a bit. And the intermediate conditions not quite wet as yeah, Keel struggled as well from the start. I wonder if he lost a bit of front wing. He's lost half front wing as well. Jonesy's lost half front wing, so that's for the half of front wing gang. And then we've got Bush Cook at the back, Mark, PC, VTech, Muggen as well at the front of this, as it looks like VTech's going to try and make a move, not quite, as Jones has been jostling with zeros, as Craig as well is on the back of this, so you're getting a very nice view of the cars. And Mocking Weeks is oh, Craig's binned it on the exit of the corner, and he's got joining the half a front wing brigade as well. So he was doing so well, and he got a nosebleed as he's now slipping down the order. As it looks like the front lot are really starting to battle. And it's quite weird seeing Hidden up there. Oh, Dusty went for the inside line and Montana covered, and It was a very close shave, let's put it that way, as Dusty now tries it down the inside, and as Montana broke a bit too late, no. But it's allowed Hidden to stay with this battle, and he'll be fairly happy to actually see Montana at any point in this race. And Unseen's currently leading it, and he'll be, well, to be fair, 8 attempts off in qualifying, and to be leading the race is, he'll be fairly happy, he'll put it that way. I don't think he's led many laps in A1 before, as Dusty loses the back end slightly. Mocking Mix, I think, has had an incident. Oh, is he? Yeah, he's lost half front wing. So he'll be in the pits at the end of this lap as well. We're going to have 2 separate battles at this rate. The no front wing gang and then everybody else. Whereas Craig has gone down to last. There's a Bush Truck is now into P9. Gamer Mark's got himself into the top 10. Again after his dismal start, let's put it that way. Muggins in P6. But the front 3, I suppose, he's starting to pull away from Hidden now, so that's going to allow Knuffle to close in. As Montana looks now to start putting the pressure on Unseen. And will he be able to get him while he's not looking? Yeah, Dusty's not giving this up. Somebody in these two have lost half front wing. I don't know if it was Montana or Dusty. I have a feeling it was probably Montana. By the way, Dusty's been able to keep up. If it wasn't majorly. As the Williams is just in behind. This is Williams' suspension. It's so high compared to everybody else's. I don't really get that. Well, that's near the green bit, and that's down there. You like that in real life? Oh no, noticed it is. Dusty is starting to close in a little bit. 3 attempts now, the difference between the two. There's a got an incident in sector 2 and 3. I wonder if that's Mocking Migs again. Oh yes. He's having a little bit of a swim as Josine goes past. I think Craig's had a bit of an adventure as well. There's an incident in sector 3. It's nothing to do with the top 3. There's Edgar's in the top 10 as well. The Mocking Migs is back in the pit lane. Which Hidden's dropping back. There are 2 seconds of difference. As it looks like Dusty's closing in still on Montana. These 3 have been battling from lap 1 pretty much. Will anybody be able to make that move as he loses the back end, and now Montana is not quite on the back end, he's a bit too far back. We'll look at VTech. They're all a bit squirming as it looks like it's drying up a bit now. You can pretty tell that. It looks near like the T1 race now in terms of the conditions. It's more light ring than heavy. And you like Dusty was pretty much touching Montana there, but without any DRS or anything, he's struggling a bit. You see the position changes are a bit crazy. 6 for Bush Truck, 7 for Edgar, 2 stops for Mocking Weeks. Imagine if Hidden got a podium, that would be just crazy. Funny's had a bit of a incident. Then it's highly likely they might. I mean, it's quicker than Knuffle at this point in the race anyway. As Montana gets a bit squirmish over turn 1. These three are set for the local, it seems. And it looks like Dust is still close. He's been at like 4 tenths back all the time. He's struggling to really make an impact on that gap. The same with like PCV Tech, on Mugan and Mark as well. He's kind of in that game. Edgar's 6 tenths back from. He's just been overtaken by Keel actually. There's Craig starting to make a little bit of an inroad on his teammate Jonesy, who's struggling a bit. Zero's had a promising qualifying and then binned it. So I don't really know why they bottled it in the race, to be honest. They knew it was going to be a long race. There's both of us racing points anywhere in the points. PCV Tech is looking at Mugan, but is a little bit too far back, as very close up being thrown 1, 2 and 3 all together, both a Hassers and a Williams in between. This is usually a battle for last place of the wooden spoon, but here goes Montana for the lead as Dusty loses it on the brake. You can see it squirming as he tried not to hit the back of the Williams, but just about survives, and Montana now with a superior traction goes around the outside of Unseen. Right around the outside of Unseen. As Unseen made a bit of a mistake, because here goes Dusty. He's going to follow him right around the outside of this following corner. Unseen pushes him out. And, oh dear. This is not what Dusty wants, but Unseen somehow keeps the position. And Montana is now in a familiar position where he's leading this race. And Dusty knows he needs to get back ahead of Unseen, but it's not an easy thing to do. He's been probably the person that's holding everybody up. But yeah, it's very close. As look how close to the back of the house. You'd thought the houses would work together, but Unseen doesn't seem to want that. As Hidden's going to probably come into this battle if they're not careful. There's a bit of ghost in there. As oh, he's done a bit of a Verstappen there, pushing him all the way wide, and that's Dusty into Peter as well. And Unseen's, let's say, race is going from bad to worse, and he could be off the podium in a minute if Hidden doesn't have a nosebleed, because he's closing into the back of these guys. And it's quite impressive how his pace has changed, because he was on last game, I think, back in top 10 possibly, and to see him further forward now is quite nice. And behind there's nothing really happening, it's really happening up front. They've kind of dried up in behind. As it looks like Hidden's he's looking really hungrily at Unseen, and it looks like he's going to have a good chance now. We're a bit of slipstream. Will he go for it? No, he sticks in behind. Doesn't outbrake himself. Maybe Unseen's the person with the damage. So it sort of makes sense, but I don't think he was involved. As here goes Hidden into turn number 3, and it looks like he's struggling a lot. It looks like Hidden is really in his own at the minute. I mean, he's only a couple of seconds off the lead. Unseen's dropped back like a shit ton. And in this stint, and there's the back end, and Will Hidden trying to take that corner. He'd have to have a lot of balls. He's looking for it. He sticks his nose in. If it was side by side, he'd have actually made it, try and make it happen. I'm pretty sure of that. As it looks like Dusty's going to go for the lead now. on Montana, as he has to stick him behind slightly, and I'm pretty sure Montana will not give that one up without a fight. As here comes Dusty. Will he be able to make a move on Montana? Montana goes ultra defensive. As Dusty fires it around the outside, goes for the switchback. Will he be able to get a nice exit? No, Montana just about keeps it. And Hidden's just a little bit too far back at this point. But with a lot of slipstream here, will Dusty be able to track around the outside again? Will he force Montana deep? He does. He tries to switch back, and it looks like it's going to probably work out for him as he goes side by side now. Into the second sector we go, side by side, and it looks like Montana's got the inside line, but Dusty holds it around the outside. Will he be able to make the move right around the outside? It looks like he has on Montana, as they both give each other a massive amount of respect from the two, and it looks like Dusty's being able to make the position right around the outside of both the corners, as Hidden's got a penalty, and oh, Montana's come back at him. We didn't see that. Maybe he lost the back end side, as they're still going side by side in the final few corners. Who will get the better exit? It looks like Dusty's going to get a bit of slipstream into turn 1. I wonder if he can make that move. As he heads down into turn 1 now, he goes for the dive. Montana doesn't hit the apex, which is about right for someone down here inside. And they're still going for it, the Williams and the Haas, as they head down now into turn number 2. As he goes around the outside, does Dusty? Will he be able to make the position now with a bit of a switchback? As we've got a DNF, I reckon. As Hidden is actually, well, he was onto the podium. It was very short-lived. As Mockymix has retired from the session. But Dusty is still on the back of Montana. Trying his best. I mean, he's tried everything, round the outside, round the inside, round everywhere. But Montana's an immovable object. As Unseen and Hidden are both catching these two, so this is becoming a four-way scrap if these two keep battling the way they are. And that'll be crazy. Hidden's got some really nice pace at the minute. I mean, Unseen, Dusty and Montana, yeah, we knew they had very good pace, very strong pace. But for Hidden to be in that battle as well is surprising, to say the least. And it was incident in sector 2 and 3. Wonder if that was a mark or a keel. As Muggins actually caught up to Knuffle, so he's lost about a bit of time. Maybe it was Knuffle. As I've got to charge my headset, which will make things a little bit awkward. Where's the charging port? It's there. As Knuffle runs wide, you'll hear a buzz as Dusty heads it around the outside, and Montana has gone deep, and that's allowed Dusty to go through into the lead of the race, and that is a rare mistake from Montana under pressure, and that's him into second place, the Swiss driver, and in his Williams, and that's him stuck now, looking at the back of that Haas. Presumably he'll be able to keep with him. I mean, this is Montana we're talking about. Hidden has dropped back from Unseen, so Unseen's being able to, maybe with a bit of change of conditions, being able to be acclimatised a bit better than Hidden has. In fact, where's this pace come from all of a sudden from Unseen? Because he's right on the back of Montana. So obviously Montana's the one going backwards, as the Hassers go back over the Williams. It's just weird saying that. As Craig, it looks like he's made the move on Jonesy, so he's actually closed that 12-second gap. As Jonesy holds it around the inside, but Craig goes right around the outside, no problems. And actually, they're catching up to these two as a lapped battle. The two Mercs being lapped by Haas and Williams. And it looks like Dusty's going to come to them first. I wonder if they'll get in the way. As Zero's comes into the pits. As DRS is enabled, as Zero's going to go on the top medium tyres as Edgar's already on them. Anyone behind will be stupid, so I'm presuming the leaders will come in now for their tyre change. As Jonesy takes the inside line. Will he play havoc coming into the pit lane? He is a little bit. As Jonesy actually carries on for some reason, and so does Montana. Even though the DRS has been enabled, Montana carries on. Craig's in, Unseen is in, both of the, and Hidden carries on as well. What is the Williams doing? They're going to lose a load of time. That's Hidden's podium chance was gone. I mean, Montana would have been behind. As Mugen picks up a 5-second stop and go. 5 seconds for speeding. Maybe the Inter's lost a bit longer than we think, but the mediums have come on. Everyone's but Knuffle, who's gone for a soft. So he's going for a 2-stop. That's clear, unless he's put the wrong tyres on. But there's a few going out there on the softs. Zero, Bushcook, Chuck. But it's interesting to see if these lot gain, as it looks like Hidden and Montana will probably pit this lap. I mean, oh jeez, and Montana's doing a 4-wheel drift through found a few corners, and I think they've realised they made a slight mistake as they come in now. Except for Hidden, he carries on. For whatever reason, we don't know. Montana's in now. And he's going to get overtaken by Dusty and probably Unseen as well. Actually, Unseen's lost a load of time. So Montana will probably come ahead of Unseen. Now, Unseen's lost a lot of time because he double stacked, I'm presuming. As he picks up a penalty, there's Dusty is well in the lead. There's Unseen going around the outside of turn 1 there, and he's managed to get ahead of Montana into P2. So it's a 1-2 at the minute for the Haas, as the two Williams, well, one of the Williams up front is yet to pit, as he's made an absolute horrid mistake of not pitting. I mean, it's not raining at all anymore. It's dry, it's bone dry, and he's losing all the time in the world. He's losing so much time. As Montana's out, he lost it, I'm presuming, but he's in the wall. So that's Montana's race over, which means, I would say that means he's on the podium, just hit him, but Knuffles probably jumped him. If that's how much he's bottled it. Unseen's 11 seconds off of Dusty. As oh, Dusty's binned it. So the two leaders have both binned it, and Hidden could have won this race. Let's face it. Knuffle sets the fastest lap of the race. Hidden is coming out in P4. Yeah, it looks like it's P4. But probably a prime position to get something done here with better tyres. But you think about it, he could have won this race. With Montana binning it. And so did Dusty. He'd have been ahead. What is he playing at? He could have won this race with a better strategy call. I mean, these two are going side by side still. I'm presuming Dusty's lost a bit of front wing as well, for good measure. He probably has, but we can't see it, as these two are still going side by side. As it's clear that Knuffle is a bit quicker. But the Alpha is sticking behind, he's trying to find a space that does not exist. Oh! And that is a tank slap and a half. And just about gets away with it, as the gap's coming down and down and down. And Hidden's going to be in this battle in a minute. As he sets the fastest lap race after his spin, as Craig retires, so that's the end of his race. Oh. Banter, as they're still going side by side, Knuffle and Unseen. Round the outside, as Knuffle's actually got half a front wing, You wouldn't believe it. As he's trying to survive there. Actually, hasn't got off from me. That's. Oh yeah, he has. He has. He's lost an end plate. There's. It looks like Hidden is now gone to the back of these, and he's got the best tyres of everybody. He backed out of that one. He didn't fancy it. There's Knuffle has got no downforce. Oh, and that is unfortunate because he went to go to the pit lane. Hidden went down the inside, and he's lost half front wing himself. Muggin could be on the podium in a minute. This is going a bit crazy. This is really crazy. Hidden's on the podium in a minute. Unseen's probably got an easy 1-2 now for Dusty because Hidden's half a front wing. He didn't know Knuffle was pitting, so he went to the inside and hit him. That's difficult to blame anyone for that. It's very difficult to lay a blame, let's say. But yeah, Muggin is climbing Hannover, aren't he? He hasn't had a podium in years. Since he won the Tier 3 championship, I'm pretty sure. As his Hidden comes into the pits as well now, so that's his chances of anything gone. That's Muggin onto the podium. So from what I hear from the chat, Jones's wheel disconnected and killed Montana. Which is leading to some saucy discussions in the chat. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Morgan's onto the podium now. Hidden has come out just behind Mark, who has no pace whatsoever at the minute. He's really struggled this race with his floating. It looks like his car's floating. It's really weird. It just looks like the Williams is a bigger car as well. It's really weird. As he's there. Yes. There's Hidden's actually gone on the hard tyres. I don't know if he's got any more mediums left. Is he going to turn number 2 now? And nothing coming his way. But it looks like Hidden's going to get that P6 back after a treacherous run. Knuffle's not had a good look. Zeros is an 8th, and then that's how bad this race has gone for some people. It's here goes Hidden on Mark. Round the outside goes Hidden, and it looks like he's got the position on Mark done into the corner, and that's him into P6. As Knuffle has retired. I wonder if that's a crash, or I mean, you'd be fairly pushed to crash up there. To be honest, I think that was pretty deliberate. as our number of retirements go to 5 and 1 disconnection. The bus truck is now in P5. He'll be carries lucky stars as well. PCF on VTEC P4. But Mark is actually keeping up with Hidden as well, which is interesting. It almost looks like the front wing's ploughing into the ground. It's that low. It's almost ground affected. As he follows the Williams through. Since he overtook him, he's been able to keep with him, but the DRS, I suppose, has helped. As Hidden's actually closing on Bus Truck quite a bit. There's an incident in Sector 2. There isn't many cars in Sector 2, is it Jonesy? So there goes Mark on Hidden as he's looking into the hairpin. Not quite making an attempt to make a move anyway, not quite close enough. So Hidden's actually caught, he's caught a lot on the Bus Truck. Bus Truck is on him, well, they'll have to pit again really. Same with Zero. Zero will lose position now because he's 21 seconds ahead. Whereas Bus Truck will lose fully 2. But here goes Mark. Mark is showing some decent pace, but Hidden's got a bit of DRS as well. And probably using all of his DRS, yeah. Into the braking zone. He overtakes Jonesy's car. Oh! Hidden went to the inside and just kind of took him out. And that's allowed Mark to go past pretty cleanly. Let's up him up into P5. It's really weird seeing only one NXS car still in the race and it's not being Montana. It's really weird. We're now come to back in the race. Penalties, I don't know if it's anything. Dusty has 2. Machine has 1 warning. Morgan has a 5-second stop and go, and so you probably won't get a pet on the podium. So VTEC doesn't actually have anything, so there's 8 seconds worth of penalties for Morgan. If VTEC picks up another penalty, then he has half a chance. But he'd have to pull another second as well. So I'll make the podium. What's Unseen's penalties like? 1 warning, so none for him. Thank you for the 11 viewers, by the way, that are still watching. We're hoping that this race will somewhat come alive at the end. It's not looking likely. I mean, Mugen is pulling away from VTEC a little bit. If VTEC gets another penalty, then he's got half a chance of getting that podium. It's the first podium he's had since Season 3, I believe. And, yeah, he's kind of hoping that'll happen. As he hasn't really had any pace since Season 3, to be honest. Since he won Tier 3. It's gone up to 4.3. Just seeing the penalty situation still. It's still the 8. Oh, yeah, still the 8, I think. Yes. VTech. Still yet to pick up a warning since lap 2, I think. 1. What's Mark like? 1 pen. Hidden's picked up a 3. But VTech's definitely dropping back by a good amount at the minute. Smuggin's put the afterburners on a bit. The gap is now 5.1 seconds. That's interesting. So if he did pick up a penalty, that position would be Muggins. So he's been very, very consistent. Just need to get a few more seconds of Muggins. 2.5, 2.7 in the last 3 laps. Speaking of Dusty, though, he's been fairly dominant since the rain period. He's been just driving consistently. He's going to win 2 races in the space of 2 days. He won the T2 race as well. Still no penalties, I don't think. Unless something happens in the last few laps. And it's pretty certain then that PC from VTech will get a podium on his debut. And Muggin will miss out, and it's pretty heartbreaking for people like Muggin. Hidden, who probably could have won this thing. Well, probably not won it, judging by Dusty's pace afterwards, but P2 definitely, on the cards. And Morgan could have had that podium if he didn't have that stop and go. There's a Keel sets the fastest lap in the race. Interesting enough, in P9. There's oh, missed that. Dusty has won the Austrian A1. Dusty's won the A1 Austrian Grand Prix as NSX on. I can't even speak, my voice is gone. Unseen's gone to P2. Mugan is P3, and very temporarily as F1 VTEC gets that P3 by 2 seconds in the end. We're going to be thoroughly disappointed with that, but obviously P4 is not a bad result, but podium would have been better. As Mark comes on P5, just with Hidden just in behind. Bushstruck in the end managed to get P7 ahead of Zero. Akil's already finished in P9, Edgar P10 and Jonesy P11. As my text telling me it's dying again, but yeah, it wasn't really the race we were looking for. It was good for a good first half, a bit like the T1 race, a good first half of the race, and then it kind of died out. But we're hoping for something a little bit better in Australia, I suppose. But yeah, it's a Haas 1-2. Dusty won't be here next week, so probably won't be a Haas 1-2 next week. But yeah, Unseen can be fairly happy with that, and PC VTEC will definitely be happy with being on the podium. Hello, Nolan, joining in late. So that's the results. Obviously, Dusty winning by pretty much a country mile. It ended up spreading out quite a lot in the end, after the controversial Montana retirement and a few incidents up and down the pack that need a bit of sorting out, let's say. But I will see you all tomorrow for the Xbox One side. Hopefully we can put on a bit of a show with that, the first somewhat meaningful race, the preseason race. So yeah, guys, I'll see you for that tomorrow, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Good night.